So this sprint, I worked on implementing the basic UI flow and logic for controlling different aspects of my UI, like pausing the game when the user pulls up the settings in my game scene, and implementing some basic functionality for a couple of settings. I learned how to use some aspects of the built-in UI system in doing so, like layout groups, to implement a very basic version of the Figma UI. And here's an example showcase of that. Where I have it so that the phone is sideways when it's in the game view and the settings open up and sideways, and then the phone is in portrait mode in the main screen view. This is what my UI design looks like. Currently, I just have a main screen view, and then for my game, I have it going directly into a game start screen and then into the game view. And then as shown in the video, there's a settings panel that can be accessed from the game view. And then when the user finishes the game, they can go back to the main screen. For AI, I found that Copilot and ChatGPT produce very similar code for coding related questions this time. And I think that's likely due to some questions being about general knowledge. And again, I found that ChatGPT's explanations were consistently slightly better than Copilot. And for Copilot, I consistently tried to provide, or it consistently tried to provide code for Unity UI rather than strictly using the built-in systems in the inspector, which I thought was weird. I'm not sure if there's when there is a use for that. And again, the explanations were sometimes lacking information that would help to find the best solution, but I did find that some of the explanations were better than I had in the previous weeks. As for challenges, I haven't worked with Unity's UI system in depth much, so it's been somewhat of a challenge learning that, mainly just figuring out what the different controls for the group layouts do, like vertical layout group and the different like scrolling panels. With that, I also don't have much experience with UI design, so I'm not sure what the best way to approach to try to make something that looks decent is. It seems like AI kind of struggles with providing explanations for the UI system, but I think that also might be and probably is just my lack of knowledge with the system components. So I think the answer is probably just looking up online tutorials because those seem to be more helpful. And I have a picture of like the AI output on the right. I find these steps to kind of be hard to follow, and that it doesn't immediately give something that works, and it's kind of hard to debug from what it gives. And then as for what I will work on, I worked on upgrading the UI. I'm still doing that. figuring out what needs to be handled explicitly for mobile devices, and still working on doing that. And then I worked on refactoring code to fix unnecessary event calls and game states. And as for next week, I will still work on finishing my basic game loop and still updating the UI.